In an interview with Politico after a private dinner in Manhattan, Rudy Giuliani continued to bash Obama, as he does nonstop nowadays. Mediaite reports, quote, "This time, Giuliani invoked the infamous prayer breakfast speech in which Obama warned against a high horse on religious violence, noting that Christian extremists committed the deadly Crusades many years ago." So here's what Giuliani said, quote, "You've got to be able to criticize Islam for the parts of Islam that are wrong. You criticize Christianity for the part of Christianity that is wrong. I'm not sure how wrong the Crusades are. The Crusades were kind of an equal battle between two groups of barbarians, the Muslims and the crusading barbarians. What the hell? What's wrong with this man that he can't stand up and say there's a part of Islam that's sick?" Okay, I love this statement. Now, the reason I love it is because it shows you how profoundly stupid Rudy Giuliani is. We covered a story a while back where he was speaking to, was it Megyn Kelly? I forget who he was speaking to, but he contradicted himself in like under a minute, where he said that stats are irrelevant when the host brought up stats that disagreed with his argument. He said stats are irrelevant, and then he immediately pivoted to his own stats, and he portrayed them as if these count. So wait, are stats irrelevant or are they relevant? When a stat you like, then they're relevant. When you dislike them, you say they're irrelevant. So you're just picking and choosing based off whatever your fucking opinion is. That's ridiculous. You don't have a consistent standard here. By the same token, look at what he just did there. I don't know if you caught it. I'm going to go through it one more time. He says, "You've got to be able to criticize Islam for the parts of Islam that are wrong." Good so far. You criticize Christianity for the part of Christianity that is wrong. Again, good so far. "I'm not sure how wrong the Crusades are." I mean, you want to talk about shitting the bed. He says, "The Crusades were kind of an equal battle between two groups of barbarians, the Muslims and the crusading barbarians." What term is he leaving out there? And then he ironically says, "What the hell? What's wrong with this man that he can't stand up and say there's a part of Islam that's sick?" I don't know, maybe the same thing that's wrong with you that can't admit a part of Christianity is sick? As he's criticizing Obama because Obama does not point out flaws in Islam, he's refusing to point out any flaws in Christianity. Now, on this, let me be clear here, I'm consistent. I will gladly say, I'll scream it from a rooftop, you can grab me a fucking megaphone. There are a bunch of shitty ideas in Islam that we should criticize nonstop. By the same token, there are also a bunch of shitty ideas in Christianity that are fucked up. So I'm willing to be consistent and say there's really fucked up things in both religions. And by the way, there are some decent things in both religions. But that's what we call consistency, and that's what we call objectivity. Whereas sometimes is the criticism fair of some progressives that, hey man, look, they really do always criticize Christianity, and they have no problem doing that, but then they walk on eggshells when it comes to Islam. Yes, I do think that criticism is true, right? I think that's a fair criticism, one I've made oftentimes myself, and ironically one that people have accused me of before. But Rudy Giuliani is showing the exact opposite bias. He's like, Islam, the bad parts of Islam, they're terrible. You can criticize Christianity, but you can't criticize Islam. And then he says, yeah, the Crusades, I'm not sure how wrong they were. And it was an equal battle, not, marauding Christians. No, it was an equal battle between Muslims and the crusading barbarians. So you're not saying Christians. You're avoiding saying the term Christians. Because, see, in your mind, it's, well, when Christians do something wrong, come on, there's always a deeper reason. There's always something else that goes into it. It's always a complex picture. You can't just pin it on Christianity. That's an argument you only 100% disagree with when it's a Muslim, right? When it's a Muslim, it can't be a complex situation. It can't be that there were political factors and economic factors and other factors that go into it, which lead into the soup of religious extremism. No, in that case, just Islam, just Muslims, just their religion. Blame them, blame them, blame them, blame them. But with Christians, no, you can never blame the Christians. Not even for the fucking Crusades. So, Rudy, while you're screaming about the bias of everybody else, maybe you should look in the fucking mirror and check your own goddamn bias.